Okay. General typography is 20%. General layout involving your containers, grids, and flex using Bootstrap or W3 is 30%. No? Importante na ito ngayon. Now, if you look at one of the, yung kay Bungag. Okay? It's a very good website, no? But there's a part there which does not involve flex. We don't like that anymore, no? Ayaw nating merong ganon because this time, you should be able, everything should be flexible, no? Which means that dapat hindi ma-clutter yung contents. Your website should be readable all the time, okay? There were many other examples, no? Not just bungag, but ang nakita ko lang yung kay ano. Okay. Let me look at that. Ito ba? Bungag ba yun or this is flex, no? Oh, flexible ito. What we don't like is when they overlap, no? They're not flexible, okay? Ulitin nga natin ito. Okay yung kay bungag, no? Flexible siya, no? Hindi siya mag-clutter. Who was that again? I forgot which that. Baka na-edit na, no? Tingnan nga natin ito, Lozano. Dapat flex, no? Which means that your content should not clutter. Hindi siya mag-clutter, hindi magpatong. Okay? Okay, so maybe it has changed already, no? Because I pointed out the tingnan ko nga ito. Because obviously you will be creating, you will be professionals, no? So you need to have, you're starting now, no? Kailangan professional looking yung mga websites, no? And they should not clutter depending on the size of the viewport. That's called the viewport, okay? So any questions so far? No? So let's go back to that. Saan ba yung ating ano? So the general layout, so no, is 30%. That's very important, no? And the input forms, no, modals and cards, 30%. So you should ask for user profiles, no, registration forms. It's up to you, no? And then other styles such as cards, icons, carousels, etc., galleries, and others. That's 20%. So a total of 100%. Okay. Any questions? So that's due on the 24th. It's a much tighter deadline because I presume you are familiar with HTML and CSS already at this point. Okay. Any questions? So let's go through the no. Ang pinaka-importante lang nandito are the forms, no? Then we will go through W3 CSS quickly. No? I presume you have used them already. No? Working with forms ito, maganda ito. No? And then working with modals. Okay. So let me look at the W3 schools. No? Flex. Magawa muna tayo ng flex. Okay. There's a class called dflex. And there's also a class called dinline flex. The main difference between inline and no inline is an inline will not start on a new line kasi inline nga eh, no? Okay, so for example we can try this in our W3 spaces. Let's rename this as what's this all about? Flex, no? Hindi pa na-rename. Edit pala, sorry. And then let's copy our forms, our blank form. So that we will have an example for it here. Bootstrap flex. Yeah, you have to be familiar with the case. So ito, no? So it's a div called a class called dflex, no? Let's just remove the. You can try this yourself right away, no? And then so bakit ganito? I had the style, so it's okay. No? It's good to try it. Try it online, no? Flex.html. So ayan, okay. So this should be a flex. Let's try to change this to the smallest, no? So it will not clutter. So even to the smallest. Okay. Do you follow? These are the flex items, no? So you declare them using the dflex class. No? P3 means padding of 3. The background of secondary text and the text is white. No? So, okay. Do you follow? So pwede mong tanggalin yan. What happens if you remove this? Okay, so we'll use the default no. Let's try to find out. No, see, it will use default. And the padding of 3 was removed. Okay, but it's still flex. Okay. Do you follow? Any questions? No. And then there's also inline flex. Okay. Let's try the inline flex. Pwede ba natin ilagay ito different div na lang? And this. So inline flex. No. Anyway, sa tingin ko hindi mag-matter dito, no? Basta inline will not start on a new line. Okay. A block will start on a new line. Okay. Yun yung opposite ng inline, block. Okay. And then we have a horizontal flex. Okay. Can we try this? Horizontal. Now you can float it to the left or float it to the right. So we have a flex row and we have a flex row reverse. So when you say flex row, it floats to the left. And when you say flex row reverse, it floats to the right. Okay? Do you follow? Flex row, dati float left, float right. No? Do you follow? And can we put them on one line? Okay. Yes, we can put them in one line by putting them in a container. We put them in a container. Container. Okay. And then here's the slash div here. And then we can have, I'm not sure what will be the effect. And then we'll have a row div plus row. Okay. And then this another div. Okay. Let's find out what happens. So hindi siya nag-ano, no? Because it's inline. Is it inline? Okay. But I've given you an example of navigation, right? In Bootstrap. Okay. Bootstrap navigation which goes to the left and the right, no? Tingnan nga natin yung ano. Saan yung example na yan? Okay. It's in W3 spaces. It's called Bootstrap navigation. Okay. Bakit hindi nagbago? Okay. Bootstrap na navigation. Okay, ito. How to float it to the left and how to float it to the right. I've given you this example, but it's not in the code anymore, but it's in our Dagger side. Okay. So, flex, no? Ito yung kanyang ano. That's a different topic, no? Anyway, no? So vertical flex, like this. Okay. Vertical flex. Let me copy this, no? Hindi ko na masabay-sabay, no? But it's in the W3 source. No? So for navigation, if you want to put two menus, no, in the navigation, you put them in a div and you put them on the same row. Okay. I've shown you that last meeting. Hindi ko na mabalikan, no? Bootstrap flex. Sorry. F11. So if you want to do this in Visual Studio, pwede na. Yeah. Okay. You can justify the contents. Can we just try this quickly, no? And all this, no? Deflex, that's another, no? That's equal with flex. Flex, no? Ito na lang, no? Try na lang natin. Mas mabilis. That's equal with flex. This is flex fill, no? So if you fill niya yung buong line. Do you follow? And you may want your elements, some of your elements to be extensible, like in this case where you have the third element which is extensible. We assign it a class called flex grow 1. Okay, flex grow 1, and there's also flex shrink 1, which will allow it to shrink. Okay, so if you look at the difference, no, the top is with a flex grow, so the third item will grow. The lower is a flex item without a flex grow, so hindi siya mag-grow. Do you follow? So very subtle, no, characteristic. Order, no, you can, this is order 1, 2, 3, and then the order 3, so this will become third. Okay, so this is flex item 3, but this is order 1, so nandito the first, and then order 1 is flex item 3 is order 1, flex item 1 is order 3, so they're written in a reverse order. Okay, so let's run them quickly, no? Auto margins, no? Okay, and wraps. Okay, align contents. You can align the contents. Okay, can we try this? Okay, so align contents. Okay, so flex 1, 10, and 19 are aligned on the same row. Okay, so we do that by saying flex wrap align content, no? Deflex. Okay. Wrap will wrap around, no, when it goes smaller. Can we do that? Okay, that's what flex wrap does, no? It wraps the, no, when the item becomes smaller. Okay, so there's so many things about flex, no? So you use that in your performance assessment, on the second performance assessment. Okay. Okay. So ayaw na natin yung mag-clutter. We don't want devices to clutter. Okay, especially when the viewport size changes. So by the way, we have the main Bootstrap source also here, no? You can get the examples here. Okay. 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 Columns, grids, containers, no? You can get examples from the Bootstrap website, no? By the way, the Bootstrap is owned by Twitter. Okay. currently, no, and it's open source. Okay. So what did ano pag gusto natin gagawin? Dito na tayo sa ano sa main which is modal. Modal ba? Bakit hindi pa nauna dapat forms? Modal ba ito? Forms dapat it's input, bootstrap input. Okay, ito muna tayo, no? Hindi ko nalagay yung ano, hindi ko nalagay yung ano, yung link. Bootstrap flex, wala talagang ano input. I'm sorry about that, no? Dadagdag ko na lang. Okay. Bago tayo mag-modal. Nalimutan ko ito, no? I'm sorry. This should come first before the modal. Now, there are websites that will ask inputs from your user. Like previously, no, in our class, we had payroll, we had shopping carts, no, which will ask for text input, no, text box. What is that? Radio buttons, check boxes. So that will ask for uh, that will ask for user inputs. Okay, do you follow? So ito, no. For example, you'd like to ask for username and email. So you in HTML you include them in a form. Now the good thing about a form, di ba, pwede namang walang form. But the good thing when you enclose your inputs in a form is you can have a form action, no? A form action such as put and post, no? Put and post will send a signal back to the server from your browser, no, to do something. When you say put, which means update, do an update. Do save, insert, no, save a new item. That's put. When you say post, do an update. We'll go back to that, no, when we use Node.js and Express.js, where we will access an SQL database. When you say put, we insert a new record. When you say post, you update an existing record. Do you follow? No? So we use forms as the user input. No? So there's a Bootstrap class called input group. No? And then for a span, you have in group text. No? And then now when they're on the same input group, okay, they will be on this, I think, on the same box. No? Okay, let's try this. We have that in our wala tayo sa W3 spaces. So forms, wala pa tayong forms dito. Nandito na, nalagay ko na, okay? Follow. So this example, where you will have two inputs, no? Okay, username and email, and then you will have a type. No, by the way, sa pag ilagay mo na yata sa class na, no, you'll find out, no, but it will have, no, it will fix this. Okay, Bootstrap forms, no. So dito tayo sa Bootstrap forms. Okay, have you tried this, everyone? So you are going to use this on the second assessment. Now you're required to use this. Save ko na ba? Yes. Saka tayo, ayan. Bootstrap forms. Let me the small letter yung boots S, no. I'm sorry about that. Nagkamali. No? Dapat i-capital ko 'yan, no. Okay, so ito, no. So let's look at that, no. There's a username example here, and then there's the email. Okay, these are Bootstrap forms, no. You have two inputs, two text inputs, no, a name and a name and and an email. Bakit hindi lumabas? Kasi walang label. Okay? Walang label yung input, no? You assign an input label so that there will be a label, no? Of course, no? You can include a size, no? So MB3 means group button 3, and input group SM for small. Okay? Okay. So small input groups, LG for large groups. Okay? Ito yung mga example, small, default, and this large. Let's try that. Okay. So ito yung small, default, this is large. Okay? So pwede nyo adjustan on the using the class input group dash sm. Input group dot text, that's the default. Input group dash lg means large. Okay, so you don't have to adjust fonts. Okay. Okay. Helpers, placeholders. No, ang placeholder is it will give you a default value, no, to guide the user on what to type. No, for example, kung placeholder first name, lalagyan niya ng value. Let's try that anyway. No, multiple inputs. Okay, let's run this. Try it yourself na lang, mas mabilis. Okay. So ganito, no? Okay. So this is the placeholder. Merong first name, merong last name. Okay. Do you follow? And then, how did we, ano yung 1, 2, and 3? Now, class pa lang ito, no? And then, there's only one, there are multiple labels, no? Multiple labels in one input text form control. Oh, type text, no? Do you follow? Okay. So, you can have checkboxes, no? For input groups, like this. And you can have radio buttons, no? Like that. So, the classes are, you have to, MT3 means top margin 3. The classes are input group, no? Input group text and input group radio. Okay, and this is an HTML type, no? Input group text, and you will have radio, and you will have a checkbox. Where's the checkbox? Checkbox, ito, no? Checkbox. Okay, and we also have selections, by the way, no? Yung combo box. Okay, you must have used them before. Group buttons, like this, no? You can group them together by putting them on the same div. Okay. So, then these are the sample buttons which we had before. And then meron ding icons itong Bootstrap 5, eh, no? Without you having to use font awesome. Meron din, no? Okay. Drop down button or selection. Drop down button lang ito, no? Hindi pa selection. But it's like selection, I think, no? Let's run this. No? This is just a drop down button for the menu. No? For the menu. Okay. So there's a drop down button class. So part of the rubrics is the use of forms, no? Okay. So kailangan yung gumamit ng forms like registration forms. You register your user during login, no? Sign up and sign out. No? So kailangan ng kailangan ng use of input forms. Okay, so meron din yung example dito, no? Sa Bootstrap source, no? There's even input validation. Okay? Okay. So let's try this. Let's try this. Sample ito from the main Bootstrap source. Okay? It's a whole form. Form ba? What's the name? Bootstrap forms. Galing F. Okay. So ito, no? Okay, you can enclose this in a card so this would look better. Okay. So there's a submit button. We'll go back to submit later, no? When we discuss form actions, put and post. Okay. Any questions? So may validation ba ito? Submit. Wala pang validation, no? So there should be a validation if you have an empty name or empty, ano? Lalagyan mo ng JavaScript, no? Okay. We'll go back to that later, no? Okay. So we'll go back to server side posting and putting, no? Later. Kasi yung validation nasa client side validation. Okay. Let's try this. If this will do client side validation, there's validation default. Oh, input type. Okay. There are examples, no? Kailangan mo pala ng ano, ng ID. You need an ID for your ano, for your valid types. Run this. Isa na gano'n, no? Did we save this already? Submit. Wala naman siyang changes nilagay. But maybe we copied the wrong, ano. We copied the wrong text. Delete muna natin. Save now. Automatically save. Let's look at the preview here. So, ganun pa rin, no? So, wala pa lang, ano? Wala pala siyang binago. Okay. Let's try this with the validation. There's a copy here. Okay. Problema ang pag-paste. Ayan, no? So, when you submit, so there's a validation. Okay. So may validation, no? For blank inputs. Dapat kasali pala ito, no? So can we include this in our rubrics? Para may validation. Okay. Baka hindi natin matapos ang W3, we'll just extend. Next meeting na lang, no? So bibilisan natin yung W3. Dapat kasali yung validation, no? Sana. Okay. Forms, modals, input cards, validation, no? Edit pa ito. I'm not editing this, so I have to edit. Any questions about this? Okay. Drop downs, no? Salin others. Kasali lang yung drop down sa others na yun. Okay? You follow? Okay. So what do we need more? Ano pang nandito? Let's go to modals. Okay. Modals. Okay. Gagawa na naman ako dito ng ano. I-try na lang natin, no? Huwag ko nang ira-run para mabilis. Okay. There are also examples here, no? Dito sa ano, sa main Bootstrap site. Let me just drag this below. Now, a modal is also known as a pop-up. Okay. Now, the good thing about pop-ups is it will save you spaces, no? So, your pop-up should be housed in a div. Okay. For example, if you have a button, let's run this anyway, no? First, before we explain. Okay. Pag run mo ng open modal, so maglalabas itong box na ito, no? This is usually useful if you have registration forms and logins, no? You have an X here and you can close it like that, no? That's called a modal. Okay. The modal is housed inside a div. Okay. So for here's the code example, no? We have a button, okay? Okay. And the target, we have a data BS target. I'm not sure if this, pero ano to, no? This is a 5, no? Bootstrap 5, so I think it still works. Yes, no? Kasi there are documentation which states that in Bootstrap 5 you can say data target right away, no? Instead of data-bs the target. When you say my modal, this is the target div. Okay? This target div will be opened when this button is clicked. So you don't have to use a JavaScript, no? Hindi mo kailangan ng on-click in a JavaScript of a button. Kasi usually you will have an on-click and call a JavaScript program. Instead, we assign a target to another div. Okay? Now here is the my modal. This is an ID. So this is a div class modal. That target should be of class modal from Bootstrap, and the ID should be the assigned target, like this. Okay? And you should have a modal dialog. A modal dialog will house, no? Will house the modal inside a box, no? So ito naka box. This makes it a modal dialog. Okay? Do you follow? Okay? And then inside the modal dialog, you will have the content, no? The content is divided into 3 parts: a header, a body, and a footer. Okay? Usually, in the header, you will have a close button. Okay? This is of data class btn close. Itong btn close and dismiss. Data bs dismiss equals modal. Ang ibig sabihin ng dismiss, it will just close the modal. So if you look at the header, no? Pag open mo, meron siya ditong is the model heading with an X button. This is the close button. Okay? So this is what we mean when we say btn close, data bs dismiss. Do you follow? Okay. And then there's the modal body. Now in the modal body, you can have input forms like names, emails, and so on and so forth. Okay. Do you follow? And the modal footer, there's also a button, but this time this is not, look at the class, no? btn close, this is of type btn danger. Do you follow? Ito btn close. Okay. You can have the same close. Okay. Class btn danger. Ito btn close na lang. What will happen if you have a btn here? This will really be a button. Okay. Hindi pa rin pala niya binago. No? I'm not sure if it adapted the changes. No? Okay. So that's what a modal is. No? It is a different div which you use as a target when the button is being clicked. No? So sign in, like for example, register. Do you follow? So this is an important part of the rubrics. No? Dapat may modals. Okay. Login buttons, login screens. No? Now in the tutorial, in the video tutorial, you can get a more elaborate example. I think that he will give you an example of a login screen. No? User sign in. Okay. Because the input type of a text can be set to password. Okay. Do you follow? You can add animation to a modal, no? With a modal fade, okay? And so on and so forth, no? Okay. So, tingnan mo, merong animation. Maganda to. Okay. What is the animation that is used? The BS target is modal. There's a class modal fade. Okay. When you say it's a modal and you add a fade, okay. Do you follow? So fade in. Okay. Any questions? I'm not sure how many animations there are, but you can look up, no, for them in the Bootstrap's website. No? Okay, so you can make a small modal. Okay. Yan, maliit, no? You can have a medium modal. Okay. The large modal, no? Extra large tayo directly. Okay. That's an extra large modal. I think extra large is the default size of a modal. Full screen modals. Okay. So, kayo na lang bahala, no? Dito na lang kayo pipili, no? This is full screen modal. Okay. This is useful now if you have a large registration screen. Okay. Do you follow? Instead of using just a form, you can use a full screen modal. Okay. Ito lang, oh. You just add modal dialog and then modal full screen. Okay. To the modal class. Any questions? So what is a modal? It's a pop-up. Okay. Scrolling modals. Tingnan natin, no? How it runs. Oh, there's a scroll box here, no? Mas maganda itong scrolling modals, especially if you have very long, no, text, very long content. Okay, so the scroll bar will work with the modal. Okay. So okay. So that's all about modals. Okay. So kailangan natin ng modals, ha? Cards. For better presentation, cards ganito, ilalagay niya sa box, no? Okay. And then you can put an image centered on the box like this. Okay. So this is a basic card, no? You can put this inside a modal, no? Na login screen. Okay. You can put a box inside the modal. Okay. Header and footer. A card like a modal dialog. It will have a header, content, and footer. Okay. So other types of cards, no? Okay. Card links. Let's try this. Dito, no? May link dito sa baba. And so on and so forth. Okay. So ganito yung example ng if you're getting a profile, no? Especially an image. Now when you log in, pag login screen, di ba, meron kang image at the top and then you ask for a username and password. Okay? Do you follow? So in a login screen, it's useful to use to have a card. Okay? In a user sign up. Overlays, this is important, no? When you want to see an overlay on a card like this, no? Some of you have used this before. I've seen this in some of your, where the text is overlaid, no? On the card. Okay? I've seen this in some of your, okay? So that's about cards. Binibilisan na natin ito, no? Fading modal na. Yeah, we have done this. Okay. May oras pa tayo, no? Any questions? So you just have to test this, no? Trial by error lang naman ito, but there are so many useful things you can do to make a professional website, no? Kailangan talaga ito, no? Cards, carousel, okay? Carousel. Tingnan na lang can you just look at this, no? Yung mga next. Okay, this is a carousel, okay? Some of you already had this in your band. Di ba, mas maganda kung meron kang website band, no, where you have a carousel just like in Facebook, di ba, yung proportion. Okay, this is a carousel. Okay, this is part of the of the others, no? Okay. Carousels, you do it this yourself, no? Okay. Any questions? Very important, no? Very useful Bootstrap classes, no? Bakit palaging nawawala yung aking ano? Okay. Text, input forms, carousels. Pop over. Okay, can just open this para hindi magano. Kasi mawawala siya, no? Okay. Now, ito yung pop over, oh. It will open a box. It's like a modal, no? But this will only hover yata. Let's try to do that. It's like a modal, no? But it pops over. It's called a pop over. Container 3. Pero lang ang pop over, walang target. Okay? Button. Content na kaagad. Okay? The main difference between a pop over and a modal is walang div target, no? Ito wala itong target, oh, look at that, no? Some content inside the pop over and then there's the header. Okay? Do you follow? But you will have to use a JavaScript. Okay? Kailangan mo ng JavaScript ito. Ilalagay mo doon sa script tags. Okay? Any questions so far? Positioning popovers. Okay, pwede mo ma-position, no? Okay, this top bottom, this left right, no? So you can position the popovers. And many others, no? Hoverable popovers, no? Pag hover mo lang, hoverable, okay? So very important design classes. So Bootstrap is still the de facto, no? Now, let's look at W3, no? Now you can download a W3 or you can have a CDN link. So, ito no, ito yung CDN link ng W3. Okay? So to use W3, you should have a link like this. So kung sa Bootstrap, yung link mo doon is bootstrap.css. But the good thing about W3 is it doesn't require a JavaScript. In Bootstrap, they try to remove JavaScript in Bootstrap 5.0. But in 5.1, they set it back. So lumabas na naman. Okay? Do you follow? So it's the same thing as Bootstrap. W3 is a competitor of Bootstrap. There are many other competitors, no? W3, if you look at the rankings, no, W3 is not still within the top 5 because it's a very new CSS platform. It's a much simpler, no, platform than many others, no? And the good thing about W3 is, aside from having equivalents from Bootstrap, it also has an equivalence for materialize.css. So it will be easier to manipulate colors with using W3 CSS. Okay? Do you follow? Okay, so may tutorial page tayo ng W3, no? Okay? Ayan. Okay. So you have W3 tables. Like this, we have, no? Ito, different W3 tables. Okay, you just assign W3 table class. What happens? So you'll have that, no? Okay. W3 tables, and then you will have W3 containers, no? Let's go, ano na lang, isa-isa natin, no? May tutorial, navigations, schools, mamaya na yung containers. Navigation bars, no? We have nav and nav bar in Bootstrap, right? Okay. In W3, we have W3 bar, W3 bar block. We have a lot more bars, no? Sa ano, meron tayong nav and nav bar, no? Basic navigation, like this, no? Okay. So very basic navigations, no? Link, simple navigations. Bakit nawala yung aking ano? Okay. So you look at this yourself, no? Titingnan nyo ito isa-isa, no? Okay. Sorry, I'll have to. So, ang daming examples ng nav bars, no? He even has, no, yung pinaka ano yung drop down navigations, okay? We don't have time to look at this one by one, okay? So you just try this yourself. Right aligned links, navigation bar sizes. Meron ba tayong ano? Nav bar with icons. Now this is useful, no? Using font awesome. Font awesome ba? Yes. FA font awesome ang ginamit. But nowadays, no, Bootstrap 5 has its own set of icons, no? Pero Bootstrap icons, rather font awesome is still very, very popular, okay? So you are combining W3 and font awesome. We have discussed font awesome before, no? With buttons, okay? So ito, ang ganda, no? You have buttons. Okay. And then drop down, okay? So yung drop down katulad ng ano natin ganito. They follow. So you have drop down boxes. Ito. Okay? Pero wala pa siyang down arrow key. Let's try to find out why, no? Clickable drop down link. Kailangan mo ng on-click function. Okay? Horizontal drop down. Okay? Let's find out. Yes, that's horizontal drop down. Okay, ang ganda, no? Meron ba dyan ganyan sa Bootstrap? Horizontal drop down? Wala yata, no? Okay. Responsive nav bar, no? Drop down. Okay. So, ayan. So, if you are going to change this, no? Okay, responsive siya. Oh. This is a good, ano? No, dapat responsive. Okay. And then, many others, no? Fix bottom, fix top, no? Pwede mo ilagay sa bottom. Okay, we also have that, no? In Bootstrap. Okay. Collapsing nav bar. Let's try this, no? Side navigation, ito. Okay. And so on and so forth. You go through this yourself, no? They follow? So, ang daming nav bars sa W3. There are more nav bars, no? So, lahat W3 demos, no? Makita mo lahat ito. Lahat ng examples ng W3 nandito. Okay, sa site na ito. From colors to containers. Ang ganda ng kanyang mga colors, no? Okay. Colors, oh. It's much easier to, ano? It's like W3 gray, no? Sa materialize kasi, pwede mong gawing lighter, pwede mong gawing thicker, no? So on and so forth, no? Just by saying lighter and thicker. So meron ganyan din ng W3 has also something like that, no? So let's look at tables, navigation, containers, no? So if Bootstrap has containers, W3 also has a basic class called container. Okay? Okay? So may basic din siyang container, but it is a W3 container. You can assign a color, no? Ayan, no? This is a red container. Okay? You follow? You have headers and footers. H1 and H2, that's normal, no? Let's not do that, go through that anymore. Footer. Okay. Articles and sections, this is good, no? But this, no? Okay. For layout, no? For layouting your, for layout of your websites. There's a main example, no? Okay. From W3, no? So this is a W3 container. And then W3 red, ilang containers ito? Okay. Merong isang header container which is red. And then there's a main container. Okay, which has an image. and the text, and then there's a footer container, which is also another, which is also red again. Okay, so mas maraming combination. Container padding. Okay, so what's the ano? Okay, 16px padding bottom. How do you change the padding? Okay, may automatic siya, but how do we 16 pixels? No, paano kaya i-change? It didn't specify, but baka naka-fix lang siya, no? Automatic 16 pixels is enough. Okay, so these are W3 containers, no, equivalent to Bootstrap. Okay, display container, different type of a container called a display container. Ang maganda sa display container is you can specify right away, no? Ang bilis, no? Whether you want it placed on the top left, top right, left, middle right, no? By saying W3 display top left. And you can assign a height. Okay? You can assign a height and a width by assigning your own style, no? Shall we say a div, a custom div, the way I've shown you before, no? So you can easily make a container, a layout of different containers, whether on the top left, bottom right, no? Ang ganda, no? Ang bilis. Okay? Ang bilis. You can create. Is there a middle? Yes. You can have a W3 display middle. You can have a display top middle. Is there a top middle? Wala palang top middle, no? Top left and top right lang. Bottom left and bottom right. Right away, you can make use of a quick layout. Ang bilis mong maka-layout, no? Any questions? Sino yung pumasok? Somebody just came in. Meron kumakatok. Lanorias. So, this container and display container. A display container is an automatic layout, no? Kung saan mo siya ilalagay. Ang container, you still have to place it, no? Okay, using meron ba siyang div class row? It did say you find that out, no? Because there are so many examples, no? W3 rows. Can you have responsive, no? Meron siyang responsive fluid, but it didn't specify rows. Okay. Form inputs, no? Just like in okay. So nasa W3 site, no? Let's go to the W3 site na lang, baka meron siyang Okay. Rows and columns. Mas maganda yung pagka-assign ng rows. Merong W3 row. W3 columns, okay? Can we assign that? Okay. Hindi pala natin nasali yung W3 grid. Did we have W3 grid? Hindi ko nasali dito, no? Dapat meron. Okay, I forgot the W3 grid. Kaya walang rows. Okay? Sorry. Okay, ito, no? Okay. Maganda yung kanyang ano. I forgot this. How did I forget this, no? This is very important, no? No, CSS pala ito. We're looking for W3 columns and rows. Nasa responsive, no? Okay. So, anong M4? I'm not sure about this. This is ang maganda ito kanyang ano, no? Okay, we have two columns and ano. So this is W3 grids, no? Ito na lang ang gawin nating ano, grid W3 CSS grids, columns and rows, no? Nalimutan ko ito ilagay sa ano, but this is very important, okay? So I have to ano, hindi ko nalagay yon. How did I miss it, no? It's equivalent of columns and rows in ano, in Bootstrap. Okay? Dapat kasali. Okay? Okay? So, tingnan natin sa demos, no? Sa examples. So grids and column, no? Ganito yung W grid. Kasi sa ano, there are 12 main columns in the Bootstrap grid. Tama ba 'yon? 12. Ganon din yung CSS. Rather W3 CSS. It supports a 12 column responsive grid. Okay? So when you say W3 call M4, it uses 4 large on 3, it's 3 on a large, medium 4. So ganun ang kanyang pagano, no? Simplified, no? On medium it is 4, on large it is 3. This is on medium, this is 8, on large this is 9. You know what a large is, no? Yung 1400. Okay? Let's try to find out, no? Okay? So do you follow? These are the fluid grids. Okay? Do you follow? So it's almost the same, no? So you have M4L3, okay? S1, okay? Defines one of the 12 columns, no? Pwede pala S5 to S12. I haven't tried this, no? You try this yourself, no? S6, this is 6 on the small, 6 on the small, no? So almost the same as mas complicated yung sa ano, yung sa Bootstrap, okay? Equal columns S4, S4, and S4. That's all 12, no? Do you follow? So sa mobile is S. Okay? W3 row, W3 ano? Okay? So this is the direct equivalent of the both Bootstrap grid. Okay? Bakit wala? Yan. Okay? So whatever is there, no? There's almost equivalent, no? W3 CS tables, navigation, containers, inputs, no? Yan. Okay? Input forms. These are the examples, no? Cards. You also have cards. W3 card 4. W3 container, no? Inside you can have a container inside a card. Okay? Okay? So let's look at the forms, or rather the modals. So meron din siyang modals, no? Like Bootstrap. Okay? Okay? But this, you will have an on click, no? You know this already, right? Wala siyang target. Okay? But you will have an ID. Mas maganda yung modal ng Bootstrap because you just assign an ID. And then you don't have an on-click JavaScript. Okay, but it's the same. Okay. By the way, sa modal pala ng ano, merong area hidden. By the way, I forgot, no? Sa modal. Okay. Dapat yung modal should have a class called area hidden. But pero sa Bootstrap 5, baka hindi na, no? Automatically, it will just, ano? Kasi sa example, wala naman, okay? Sana tayo. So there's one of the main differences, no, of the modals in W3. Sa ano, sa Bootstrap, you just assign a target ID, no? In ano, you use get the element by ID and you assign it an on click. Okay? And then you change this, no? Okay? So ganun pala siya, no? Okay? That's how it is, no? Okay? So take note of the main differences. Okay? Meron ding cards, no? Just like the Bootstrap cards like this. I think this is better, no? I've used this. I think this is better than the one in Bootstrap. W3 cards. Okay? You try this yourself. And now, there are so many details now, we cannot discuss them one by one. There's a head-to-head comparison, okay, between W3 CSS and Bootstrap CSS. No? So may mga explanation dito, but what I'd like to look at for you to look at is the comparison, main comparison at the bottom. No? So kung sa price, they are free. For programming languages, W3 does not require JavaScript. No? Ease of use, many people believe, no, that W3 is still easier for novice programmers, no? Because Bootstrap has a steep learning curve. The speed, it's faster and lighter, W3. But Bootstrap can be as fast and lightweight if you only download the files you need. No? The usage, W3 powers 70,000 sites, but Bootstrap powers over 20 million sites because Bootstrap 5 is the de facto, no? It is the first CSS framework, no? And W3 is a very new CSS framework. Okay? So we cannot tell very much in detail, no? Kasi if you want to learn CSS in detail, no, you need to have a whole semester. So anyway, in your case, it will not prevent you, no? All you need to do is go through the examples, go through the site, no? Sa W3 schools, sa Bootstrap CSS, no? Go through there, no? And find what you need in the examples and in the demos, okay? Any questions so far? No? So hanggang dyan lang tayo sa CSS, and that will be the end of that will be the last part of our coverage for the formative assessment on January 17. That's on Monday, no? Okay. Any questions so far? No? So right after the formative assessment, you will have a second performance assessment using Bootstrap and W. Now change topic na, no? Ibang topic na naman. So that you will not reuse whatever classes you have there. Okay. Any questions? Everyone?
Sir?
Yes.
So Monday, sir, is the formative assessment. And then the formative assessment happens during the class period.
Follow up ka. Meron pala, baka holiday pala yung Monday, no? Baka Monday pala is holiday because there's a union meeting.
Okay.
I'll move this, okay?
Yes, sir. What the topics, sir, for the formative assessment number 1?
Hanggang W3 tsaka ano? Bootstrap.
Hanggang W3 and
Bootstrap.
hanggang
Yes.
W3 and Bootstrap.
Yes, Bootstrap.
Yes,
doon.
sir.
Ha? Cascading style sheets hanggang W3 and Bootstrap. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we may move the assessment pala because there's going to be a union holiday. I'm not sure if it's in the morning. Pero 1:30 man tayo, di ba?
Yes, sir.
17 pala is Monday, no? So mali pala yung
Yes, sir.
schedule ko. I'll just move it, okay? I-move ko siguro sa 19 or sa 21 para makamit
Yes,
tayo
sir.
sa 19. Basta the deadline of the second formative performance assessment 24, ha? Okay? Is that enough?
Yes, sir.
11 din na yan, mahirap kasi kung nakagawa na kayo, no? Change topic, no? Change topic from the old one. Okay?
Sir?
Yes.
Hello, sir. Sa PA2, sir, anong topics pwede gamitin
You can
sa
choose from
website, sir?
another topic in the PA1.
Pero yung PA1, given topics lang rin, sir, di ba?
You can use any, no? Those are just suggested topics.
Ay, okay po, sir.
But different topic na, no? Wag i-reuse yung topic sa PA1.
Sige po, sir.
Okay? Any other questions? No? Any other questions? Text test style ang formative test. Or magawa pa rin kami ng website or parang knowledge. Now, test lang lahat, no? Selection type. Ang formative test. There's no making of websites. Okay? Walang gagawa. Pero doon sa, of course, performance assessment to website yung gagawin, di ba? Assign it to your web page. Okay? I will stamp the grade, no, next week for the first formative performance assessment. Nakita ko na most of you, no, hindi pa lang ako nag-stamp ng grade, so you can still improve your websites. Okay? You can pass again if you like. Today is a Thursday, no? Thursday ba? Yeah, so this is our last lecture session for this week. Any questions? Okay. So sa 18 yung ating next meeting. We'll find out, no, when we can have our formative assessment. I-suspend muna natin yan, no? Okay. So any other questions? I-move ko, I will post the recording. So mabilis na tayo sa sa W3. You have used them, no? In the first paggawa ng original talaga kasi many of you made your websites started from W3 spaces. You just go through this, no? Read this and then it will help you a lot, okay? Lagay ko ito dito. Okay? Any questions? So, thanks everyone, no? Wala akong na-miss, no? I-check ko na lang. Balos, Alquino, Buok, Bungag, Ihara, Kang, Kaur, and Panes. Okay. So, bye everyone. No? Thanks for coming. Okay, and then
Yes,
we
sir.
may have a new topic by next meeting depending on whether we will have our when we can schedule our formative assessment. Okay. Thank you
Yes,
everyone
sir.
for coming. Okay. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bye. Thank you.